You're good. What's up, everybody? Gonna go over my new mock draft here and answer all and any questions. This will be posted on YouTube right after. But kind of just like, obviously these mocks change week to week simply on what I'm hearing, where the momentum's going. Like obviously Shador, there's more momentum with him going 3 now with Aaron Rodgers, people waiting on him. Don't really know where he's going to go, and I'll periodically move my head out of the frame so you guys can see it once we get more people on. But kind of doing a late mock today. I know it's 5 p.m. where I am, probably 8 p.m. where you guys are, so you see me drinking coffee. You're like, why is this guy drinking coffee? I don't know. I probably shouldn't be having coffee at 5 p.m., but just want to make sure I maintain my energy. I was up super early today, so we'll go through this mock here, and now I have Shador back into the top 5. Just on what I'm hearing. I'm not saying I agree. This is just how I think it'll go at this moment. Now it can shift, and I'll come out with a new mock that'll probably look very similar to this next week. We have a question there from Hayden. Why Kenneth Grant over Walker or Green or Pierce? So Green is falling due to character concerns. So is Walter Nolan now, who I like a lot. Pierce, I think the character concerns, I don't think he's going to fall as much as Mike Green or Walter Nolan. I do like James Pierce there. He goes before Kenneth Grant there in this mock specifically, but I have Kenneth Grant to the Bengals in this mock. So I'll get out of the way so you can see the Eagles take Nick Scourton. I have Nolan here falling out of the first round, and I like Nolan even as high as 11, but just on the new information I've gathered and seen across the web from like scouts and insiders, it seems like Nolan's falling a lot. Same with Mike Green, which is why Baltimore was able to get Mike Green there. And oh no, you're good, dude. I'll periodically move out of the way so you guys can see this too once we get more people on. I know right now it's been really odd with my content because I've been doing some March Madness stuff all of a sudden. And that's only going to be for like a week. And then we're going back to NFL draft until the draft. So not going to the draft this year, but I am going next year. I think, where is it next year? Is it in Green Bay this year or next year? I'm going to go next year because I'm going to apply for my credentials early, and I'll go to the big 3. I'll go to the Senior Bowl, the Combine, and the draft next season. But this year, I don't think I'm going to be able to go. But yeah, what do you reckon for the Finns? Yeah, so look, it depends obviously with Shador. If Shador goes top 3, like we're hearing the Giants may take him 3rd right now from some people. I don't know if that's true or not, but let's say in this mock specifically. It's increasingly more difficult for Miami to move back in that context, right? In that scenario, because who would want to trade up? There's no quarterback, right? Like Dart, probably toward the end of the first round, if any, that high, right? Shador, if he falls, then Miami could trade back. But I do see them taking Jahdae Barron there, who they might be, thinking is the best player available there. We've seen nickels or scouts think that these players will play nickel in the NFL fall in recent years with like Brian Branch and Cooper DeJean. May happen with Barron as well. But I just think, obviously they need O-line help as well. They could take Josh Simmons there. They could take a variety of different players. But I just think that at that point right there, I have Jahdae Barron. Yeah. Steelers will not take a halfback first round. Didn't they take Najee in the first round? God, they don't have a running back right now. So I'm just saying Hampton kind of can play that Pittsburgh type of brand of football. You know what I'm saying? I think he can run through the tackles. He's more of like a Joe Mixon type, mixed with Nick Chubb. I feel like he can be a power 3-down back. That's kind of the guy they want. You could still use Warren as the gadget guy. I don't even know if Warren's up for contract or not, but I assume isn't Warren still in contract? They're still going to have him next season. I haven't been paying attention much to what Pittsburgh's done in free agency besides DK and the few other moves that they made. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see it, and I'll get back in the frame. I have Dart. Right now, I have Dart at the beginning of round 2, but I can certainly see him going in round 1. I think top 20 he could go as high as, and this next month will dictate that and exactly what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. We'll see it for sure. And if you guys are just joining or missed some of it, or it'll all be up on my YouTube, which is in the link in my bio afterwards. Obviously, I have some March Madness content still coming out this week, and then I'll still have NFL draft stuff, doing mocks for each team. So make sure you follow me for that. I've been posting like 3 or 4 or 5 videos a day, and I think TikTok is getting a little like concerned with why I'm posting so much, which is why the views are going down. And it's unusual, right? Because I usually post NFL draft and fantasy football stuff. So whenever I do a new niche, whether it be like a fantasy baseball vid, which I did last week, or, you know, March Madness, which is popular right now, I'm always trying to like push the boundary and do different things, right? Like primarily I'm fantasy football, NFL draft, but I'll even do some NBA draft in the next few weeks too, particularly after March Madness. So the algorithm gets a little weird sometimes when you post things away from your niche. So yeah. Let's go back to these comments, and I'll get out of the way too, so you guys can see this. Yeah, so I think Membu, yeah, Jihad's a dream for the Rams for sure. I think Membu could absolutely go higher than Campbell, especially if, let's say Shador doesn't go at 3, and it's Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter in those first 3, right? I can see New England at 4 taking Membu, which I had a few weeks ago. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see this, and I'll answer more questions. But this is obviously, we still have a month plus to go until the draft. I think it's 5 weeks away, so there's a lot there. Yeah, Membu's the real deal. Membu's my OT1, and I like Campbell, but my OT2 might shock you guys. I think Arante Ursary from Minnesota is the second best tackle in this class. Better than Banks, better than Campbell. I really do. And it's only because I view Campbell as a guard and Banks as a guard at the next level. I think Banks has a higher chance of playing tackle in the NFL than Campbell. And I think these are all good players, but I do think Ursary is definitely the second best tackle. I think he's going to go close to the first round. You don't like Ursary? J-Mac? I like his tape a lot, man. Membu has the best tape of any offensive tackle, but Igbuka, don't I have Igbuka here? Am I tripping? I have Igbuka, right? Where do I have Igbuka going? I guess I don't have Igbuka. I guess I have Igbuka in this specific mock falling out of the first. It's only because he can't go to the Packers, right? Because they already have a slot receiver. Well, they have Jaden Reed, right? So that would be a weird fit. Burden, I know, plays in the slot a lot as well, but I think he's more versatile than Igbuka in the way that you can actually utilize him in a variety of different ways. But yeah, I mean, I keep hearing Matthew Golden's going to go above Igbuka. So yeah, that's why I have Burden. I don't see Burden falling out of the first. And obviously I have two safeties going in the first round. Yeah, I'll get out of the way. 2 safeties going in the first round here with Starks and Emanwari, which I think is certainly possible. Will Johnson, I have going to the Cardinals here, I believe, right at 16. Will's fallen. I don't think he should. Like, I think he's unequivocally the best corner in this draft. Most physical. I think really can fit a lot of teams as being like an alpha corner. But I just see him going down to 16 at this point. Yeah. That anchor just isn't there for J-Mac, for Ursary. Look, I disagree with you on that. I'm sure, look, again, I'm not saying either of us are wrong or right. Time will tell, but I'm really in on Ursary. And maybe that just means I'm not like that high on Banks and Campbell, that I have Ursary right behind Membu. But yeah, I don't think it's. Did I watch the Michigan tape? No, I didn't watch that singular game. That was against Mason, right? Mason Graham and a few other guys. Kenneth Grant. I don't know how he performed in that. I might have watched it once, actually, but I primarily watched the USC game. He was really good in. A few other games, too. Emeka Egbuka. Yes, I know Emeka Egbuka is not in this first round. I understand. I can even see Jaden Higgins coming in and getting into this first round at this point. Houston winning it all for what? For college basketball? Yeah, you can ask me college basketball questions too, because I have posted a lot of March Madness stuff, and yeah, Guy and Stewart mess him up pretty bad too. Josiah, yeah, I gotta watch that. Thanks for sharing that, J-Mac. Maybe I'll shift my board a little bit if I see. I gotta watch that. Thanks for sharing that, J-Mac. Maybe I'll shift my board a little bit if I see something. If I see what you're seeing on him being put on skates a while, and move Banks up to OT2. How good is Cooper Flagg? He's good. I don't know if I think he should be healthy for Thursday or Friday, but I have Florida winning March Madness. Yeah. Again, I'll answer all questions, so we can discuss this mock draft, of course, but I know it's later in the day, so there might not be as many. I've noticed if I post NFL at night, no one looks. NFL is a very day type of content, whereas if I post basketball for whatever reason does better at night. I don't know why. Don't ask me. You'll have to look at the metrics. I've just noticed that specifically. Did I watch any of Simmons' 2023 tape? I did. I like Josh a lot. I just don't want him personally on the 49ers in this mock specifically because I have Armand here. If Membu falls to 11, that's a home run pick for the Niners. They have to take him. I don't think he could fall that far. 8 times out of 10, I think he goes top 10. But I just think Chicago's probably going to take an edge rusher, and that would allow one of those tackles, whether it's Campbell or Membu, Banks will be there too, to fall there. Josh Simmons scares me from the 49ers perspective because, the reason why is the 49ers are an infirmary. I'm saying that as a 49ers fan, right? Like, I don't want to take a guy who's already dealt with a serious injury if I'm the Niners. Like, I want a guy who's healthy. They need health more than anything. And Simmons probably has the highest upside of the tackles besides Membu, or maybe even perhaps more. But it's a big gamble, you're right. And I just don't trust the 49ers to take a guy like that. I don't want them to take Josh Simmons. Like, I would break my TV if they took Josh Simmons as a Niners fan. I'll get out of the way for a sec so you guys can see. Can you tell me why you don't think Jackson Dart isn't a first-round QB? I do. I think Jackson Dart's better than Shedeur Sanders, personally. But this is just how I think the draft will go at this point, from what I'm hearing right now. Now, obviously, there's going to be some changes. But Sanders, I've heard some rumors now that are pretty legitimate that he could get top 3 consideration depending where Rodgers goes. And even if Rodgers or Wilson signs with the Giants, I do think that Shedeur is probably still, I mean, his agent's doing a great job. His marketing team, everything's going well for him. I think, personally, Shedeur, a lot of the knock on him, and again, I'll periodically move my head so you guys can see this as well, is his attitude. But I actually thought I was impressed with his attitude throughout the interviews with Radio Row and the media interviews. He's just a confident dude. This has nothing to do with Shedeur as a person. I just don't see the goods at the quarterback position for him. Like, he's not as mobile as people think. He takes too many sacks. His accuracy's off the charts, and I think he could be good right away. But I wouldn't spend a first-round pick on him personally unless I'm desperate at quarterback, and obviously the Giants are. I still probably wouldn't take him third. I would take Travis Hunter over him there, but I can definitely see a world where Shedeur goes 3. Let's see. Harrison says, I'm going to answer these questions. I'll get out of the way. Who do the Patriots take if Carter and Hunter are gone? Membu. I would say the offensive tackle Membu from Missouri if Hunter and Carter are gone there. Yeah. Let alone someone rubbing actual counter. Yes. Pierce. Pierce is an anomaly, right? Because James Pierce Jr. is so skinny. He's 236, 6'5", right? 240 maybe max. But he ran like a 4.47. His agility is off the charts. But on the tape, there's so many plays he doesn't finish. Like, it's weird. There's some plays where he's in check. And from an edge rusher in the first round, you want a guy who's a game wrecker. Which is why I think people watch the tape of Shamar Stewart and be like, sure, he did. The stats and the production weren't there, but the combine was excellent. He's a freak athlete. And that's why a lot of people compare him to Trayvon Walker and why I have Carolina taking him in the top 10. Like, I'd be legitimately shocked if Shamar Stewart does not go in the top 10 at this point. I could see the Jets taking him at 7. I could see a lot of it. Yeah, I did have Sanders at 21 because I did think for a while I was hearing a lot that he could fall and the Steelers would take him there or they could trade up to 13. But there's more that I'm hearing that if the Giants don't have a quarterback, like they're desperate. They could take Sanders right there. Who you got Minnesota picking? The Vikings? Yeah, let me get out of the way. Best player available there. I mean, they don't have a need for Nick Emenwari, like a safety. They don't have a serious need there, but I really like Nick Emenwari, and I think on that Brian Flores defense, I mean, the Vikings have a Super Bowl team. I don't care what anybody says about choking, whatever. Like, they can spend money. They got Jonathan Allen. I think they paid way too much for Allen and Hargrave, but those are still solid guys against the pass because their other defensive tackles are good against the run, right? So I think they're a perfect mix. And they have a quarterback on a rookie contract now, so it depends on how good McCarthy is, but they definitely have a Super Bowl roster. There's no doubt about that. I do have Walter Nolan at this point falling to the second. Now, I'd be fine with Walter Nolan going 11 to the 49ers. Like, I'm in on Walter Nolan. I'm in on Derek Harmon. Both of those guys, I'd be fine with the Niners taking at 11 if Membu isn't there, right? But the issue with Nolan, from what I've heard, is character concerns. Like, he's falling. Yeah, J-Mac. Landon Jackson, for me, I wouldn't spend a first-round pick on him, but this is what I'm hearing, like, he's going first round. I agree with you though, 100%. Uh, let's see. Do CX take a QB? They could. I could see Dart here, but they're not trying to rebuild. They really aren't. So, like, yeah. So at this point, I think they'll probably go receiver or Zabel. They've been linked to Zabel for a while. I know Zabel's ranked like 30th overall in this PFF grading system. If you need an interior offensive lineman, you might as well get the best one. My bad. Let me answer some of these questions. What does Dart need to do to get in the first round? Well, he needs to kill his interviews. I've heard some stuff on Dart. Not bad things by any means, but just some off the field stuff. Not bad, but likes to have fun a little bit. So I mean, we'll see if that affects him a little bit. I don't think it will. He's a young kid. Like, I'm sure. Like, I know he's locked in on football, but I'm just saying, like, this is stuff that I've heard. So who knows? But he is 22, so I don't think that's going to be an issue, especially with Shador and his brand in this draft. And of course, Cam Ward, I've heard, is as locked in as anybody in the world. Just an alpha, like straight up going to be excellent pro. So, but I think if Dart kills the interview processes, he could go first round for sure. I'd have fun if I was on campus at Ole Miss too. Yeah, I'm not going to speak, dude. I've had a girl for years, so I don't want to get in trouble. I'm as loyal as it can be. Let's see. How do you feel about Warren to the Jets at 7? Yeah, I love Tyler Warren to the Jets, honestly. I think it could happen a lot. And like easily. But I just think they'll probably take Shamar Stewart or Will Campbell. Yeah, I really do at that point. Some bad tape. Yeah, Dart is hit or miss, but some of those throws downfield under pressure are like better than even Ward. And it's like, this is why I have Dart. I think Dart's upside is more vast than Sanders, which is why I have Dart a little higher than Sanders. And again, I'll do another live tomorrow and Thursday. I'm trying to do lives like 3 or 4 times a week. I'm obviously staying on, but I'm going to answer these questions. I'll get out of the way for a sec so you guys can see the board. But yeah. Does Will Rogers from Washington go undrafted? Yeah, I think at this point he will, because Tyler Shock's getting a lot of love. Quinn Ewers, even Seth Hennigan, who I like a lot from Memphis, is probably going to end up getting drafted, and he wouldn't go before any of those guys. So, yeah, let me get back to the questions, though. It's so interesting seeing. It's good. I like having conversations like this because 31 people on is pretty low, which is good. Obviously, the time frame 31 people on is pretty low, which is good. Obviously, the time frame 5:28 where I am in Los Angeles, but for a lot of you guys, probably dinner time or past dinner time, like at 8:30. Like, there's less people that are going to be on, but it's good because we can have more discourse rather than just people hating the whole time. Like, yo, like, why do you have Sanders like that? I mean, there'll still be haters regardless, but yeah, Matt Golden's not going that high. Dude, I don't know. I've heard a lot, no conflicting reports on Matt Golden. I think people are pretty sold. He's a first round pick at this point. Where do you think Quinn goes? I can see him going anywhere from round 3 to round 6. Depends who's desperate enough to take a quarterback. Because when Quinn is healthy, he looks pretty good in certain stretches, but he makes such bad decisions on the football field. A lot. It's a problem. But there's no question he's talented. There's no question there. And he is, prototypical size enough, like 6'2". I'd prefer my quarterback to be like 6'3", 6'4" if they can't like run a 4.5. But hey, 6'2" isn't the end of the world. It becomes a problem if it's like Dylan Gabriel at 5'8", right? Because he doesn't have an arm like Drew Brees. So that's the problem there. No way the Niners pass on Walter Nolan. Their D-line is horrendous. Yeah, dude, I think the Niners might end up trading back. The more information I hear is like, they could take Nolan or Harmon there at 11. Obviously, John Lynch was at Oregon's Pro Day today, and there to see Derek Harmon, of course, and Caldwell, who he could take at the defensive line position around 4 or 5. Because the Niners D-line right now, it's Bosa and a bunch of bums. Like, sorry. Like, better than me at football, but like, in the grand scheme of things, if you're trying to compete, they're bums, right? So, depth pieces at the very best. They need 4 or 5 D linemen and edge rushers in this class. Yeah. You in on Darius Alexander? Love the tape. Yeah, I had him mocked to the Bills, dude, for a while, but I just think if Harmon falls to Kansas City or Buffalo, they would take them. I can see Starks falling out of the first round at this point. I don't see Nick Worry falling out of the first round, but I love Darius Alexander. I don't see Nick Worry falling out of the first round, but I love Darius Alexander. I'd be hyped with him if you can get him in the second round. You want Ward instead of Tua? I mean, yeah. We're going to see Ward right away. We're going to see Ward right away be good. I don't think people realize, like, when these kids play like 70, 80 games, because now with the COVID year, they're playing 5 years basically, right? Like Ward did and improved at every level. I think he's going to be excellent in the National Football League from day one. Like, I don't see like as many flaws in his game as a lot of people. Like, sure, the decisions sometimes, but from a pure arm talent perspective, like, I think Ward's a pretty sure thing to be good right away. Now, Titans, not a great team, but I think, they spent some money on O-line. They have Ridley. They have a veteran receiver there. They have some talent. Obviously, Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard are pretty good. Like, I can see him doing well right away. I think it's becoming confirmed that if the Giants don't trade up, like, Ward's going to be the number one pick regardless, whether it's the Giants or Tennessee picking there, and I think it's a great pick. I think there's such a huge drop-off between Ward and the second quarterback than there is between Shedeur and Dart. Like, I think that those two are, like, neck and neck. I think Dart's a little better than Shedeur, but I think those are closer, those two quarterback prospects. Then, of course, Ward. I think Ward is leaps and bounds better than anybody else. My bad. Let me answer some of these questions. Let's see. James Pierce is going to be a Pro Bowler. He needs to gain some weight, but I love the upside. It's just the tape is inconsistent. Like, from an athleticism standpoint, it's there. But, yeah. Steelers could take Jackson Dart. I can see it too. And that wouldn't be a bad pick. I think that'd be a good place for him to go. You think Nolan could be as good as Chris Jones someday? I wouldn't say that good, but Walter Nolan's the real deal. Like, he's been my pick for the Niners at 11 for a long time, but I don't think that he gets picked there just because he's falling due to character concerns. I'm not the one who judges this. This is what I've heard from sources everywhere, from people I've talked to. Now, I'm not saying I have the best sources in the world, but I've just heard throughout the process there has been some character concerns, issues for him. The tape's off the charts, though, for Nolan. Like, athletic, upside-wise, I think it's there. He's not as refined as Mason Graham. Like, Mason Graham's tape's unreal, but I think he's probably the DL2. Let's see, though. Princely hopping on. Where you got me at, dude? Bear, like, in round 2, but close to round 1. I can see you going round. I want the Niners to take you at 43, man. Obviously, you see Princely in the comments. Ole Miss. I have a lot of Ole Miss guys in this mock. Like, I want the Niners to take Chris Paul Jr. and Princely. And in round 1, take Walter Nolan. Like, Nick Gordon, not better than me. Dude, look, I'm just saying, right now, he is falling and you're rising, but I can see either. I can see the Eagles taking you, for sure. For sure. Obviously, look, with the interviews hopping on, like with the interviews and everything, you'll probably rise, probably be a first rounder. Again, I'm not like a genius by any terms. I haven't played edge rusher, obviously. I love your tape. I think you're an excellent football player, and I think you're going to be an excellent pro. Probably you go round 1. I'm just saying right now I have you early round 2 in this mock specifically. But yeah, where do you want to go, dude? You want to go? Please come to the Niners, bro. I need help. Bosa needs some help on that D line, dog. Big time, like big time. Even think he's stout enough to not contain a 3-4. Yeah, dude, for sure. I love the Ole Miss guys though in this draft. Like I love Chris Paul Jr. People are saying he's undersized, but I think he's a second round talent. I think Walter Nolan's a first-round talent. Princely's obviously a first-round talent, though I have him going round 2 here. It's probably a mistake since he hopped on. But Ole Miss has like an excellent defense. I don't think people realize Jackson Dart's obviously going to go round 1 or 2. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with all of this. It's so much time until the draft, right? These guys got to kill the interview process. There's just going to be fits, too, based on different schemes that teams play, that's going to decide some of this. Like, there'll be guys that you don't think are first rounders, like I'll get out of the frame for a sec, that end up being first rounders, right? So you never know. You never know. I mean, there's a lot that can happen until then, but we'll see. Obviously, the combine helped a lot. good list, but Sanders is falling. Walter Nolan, mini Jalen Carter. Yeah, dude. Walter Nolan's the real deal. Real deal. I've heard he's falling. I don't know why. Like, I would take him at 11 if I'm the 49ers. Him or Derek Harmon, somebody like that. But, yeah, man. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff here. Sorry, I'm just reading the comments. I have to go up on my phone to read some of these comments, so that's why. Let's see, what do we have here? Because I'm behind on some of these comments. That's the only reason why I'm doing this, and you see me like up here like this. Show us the rest. Yeah, I'll get out of the way in a second. I'll get out of the way in a sec so you guys can see this. Let's see. Everyone's saying Princely, come to the Saints. It's hilarious. Dude, the Saints need a lot of work. Saints need a lot of work. You were the most productive edge rusher in the SEC, missed 2 games. It's just fact. And he had a good combine. I don't think people realize, like, Princely looked awesome at the combine. I can't remember his 40 time, but definitely had one of the better combines for the edge rushers and is more, I think, physically ready to play edge rusher in the NFL than a guy like James Pierce who's really skinny. You know what I mean? That's the only issue there. But yeah, 7 and 9. What does that mean, dude? I love that Princely is engaging in this, dude. I think it's important for this discourse because, you know, there's people, obviously, I wouldn't say haters, like everyone knows you're good, but people are going to say like, oh, are you a first round pick? Are you a second round pick? Like, no one's going to say you're a third round pick. Like, no one's going to disrespect you there. But I think talking to people and what they see on tape too as fans is also important too. If you play edge, you play both no matter what. Depends on the play. Let me answer some of these questions though. Malachi Starks to Philly. I can see it, dude. Malachi Starks is falling. Like, obviously he's a game wrecker. True safety, was a projected top 10 pick before the season. Same to Will Johnson. I have both of them falling here. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because at the safety position, a lot of times these guys fall, and guys that might be seen as nickels. Like, I can see Jahdae Barron falling because you look at Cooper DeJean, you look at Brian Branch. I don't know why I was blanking on the name. That fell in previous drafts, right? So I don't know. I mean, I still think he goes top 13 here, obviously. Nick Scourton's falling, so I can be anybody. Like Landon Jackson seems to be rising. But yeah, it could be Princely there at 29 to Washington. Like, definitely could happen. I mean, you never know with these edge rushers toward the end of the draft. Mike Green's falling. So that's the issue too, is like Mike Green apparently is falling. I like Mike Green's tape, but you and Jahdae grew up together in Austin. Yeah, dude, Jade's a dog. Jade's a dog for sure. I like Jahdae Barron. I mean, I think he could go top 10. I'm just saying in like previous drafts, if you're seeing, okay, he's going to be a nickel in the NFL, automatically falling. Like, no way Cooper DeJean deserved to fall to round 2 last year. And he did, right? So like, that's the only issue here. Let's see. Do I ever play MLB The Show? Yeah, I do. I like MLB The Show, but I only play, it's weird. I only play like NBA 2K, MLB The Show, College Football 25, and Madden. Yeah. Let's see. Let me answer some of these questions. Dart to the Saints. Carr will be gone next year. Yeah, I think Dart is good, man. I kind of want the Niners to take him. They're not going to take him at 11, but I can see him, like, if he learns behind Purdy for a year. Because I think it benefits quarterbacks immensely to sit behind a veteran for a few years. I know Purdy's 25. But if you don't want to extend Purdy, you can always, it plays on $5 million next year. Draft a guy like Dart and even trade back into the first if you think he's going first round, if you don't want to use that 11th overall pick. And take him for the future, because Dart's arm talent is off the charts. Trey Harris is also super underrated. He had the best stats of any wide receiver in half the games, right? I know I'm kind of glazing these Ole Miss players right now, but they had a very good football team. And Trey Harris is a hidden gem. That's like DK Metcalf. Like, I know the Ole Miss comparisons, and that's why, but dude, he plays a lot like DK. Contested catch off the charts. Like I think his yards per reception is like 17 or something, and 66% contested catch rate is like crazy. The route running needs a little bit of work. He's not as refined as a route runner as like an Emeka Egbuka, but from a pure talent perspective, dude, Trey Harris has the goods. Yeah, what do you mean? He's not even that big. Dude, Trey Harris like 6'3", 6'4". Am I tripping? I think he's 6'3", 6'4". Like DK's 6'3", 6'4". Obviously, no one's as jacked as DK. Like DK's a freak athlete, but like he's definitely 6'3", 6'4". Yeah. And so is DK. Thoughts on the 49ers? Dude, I think they could take Walter Nolan. I've had Walter Nolan mocked to them for a long time. But I do think that, I've heard Walter Nolan's falling. I don't know why or what the reason is. But I think Walter Nolan, he was obviously second in PFF run grade last year at Ole Miss. And only 17th against the run against the pass isn't bad. It's pass rush grade too at PFF. And the tape's off the charts. So I think Walter Nolan can be the real deal. I'll move my head in a second so you guys can see some of this stuff. But yeah, let me get out of the way for a sec. But yeah, that's basically the whole board. I'll go for a few more minutes here, and then you can catch the whole thing on YouTube. Again, I appreciate Princely engaging in the comments, dude. If you want to ever come on, just let me know and just kind of discuss why you're the best edge rusher in the draft. You can just shoot me a DM. We'll make it happen. And yeah, I know we don't have a ton of people on today, comparatively in the past, but yeah, I mean, 33, we actually get good conversation versus like 300, 400 people. I don't know why I'm drinking so much caffeine coffee and then an iced tea, dude. It's like 6 p.m. where I'm at, so. Why the heck would the Patriots draft Travis Hunter? Because he's might be a generational talent. Now, again, I think if he was just a receiver, I would have him as the first best receiver in this draft. Not kidding. Better than Ted. Like, I think if he's just a receiver, he's that. And if he's just a corner, I would have him 1 or 2 as well. So that's why. Who do you prefer, Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant? Nolan, for sure. Grant's more strictly run defender, mammoth of a man. Obviously big. Nolan, I think, has far more twitchiness and upside. But yeah, make sure you guys follow me. I'm going to end this live. It's going to be up on YouTube. So appreciate all the love from you guys. And yeah, I do want the Niners to draft a center at some point. And yeah, I mean, at this point, we'll see. I'm going to come back on the live tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, I'll get out of the way so you guys can see this. Again, if you missed this live, you can check it out on YouTube and make sure you follow me. I'll be posting some March Madness stuff in the next few days, but then back to the NFL draft and all that stuff. So appreciate the love. See you guys.